If I'm looking at this first one right here, X. X should be easy to see. What kind is it? These two are corresponding. Corresponding has to match. So that's 135. Z should be easy to see. What kind are these? Consecutive interior. What's the rule for consecutive? Add up to be 180. So 180 minus 70 tells me that's 110. The problem that people have is finding the Y. Now, a couple people actually had it in here. I'm going to look at it like this. Here's my triangle and Y's at the top. And I know this part right here is 110. And I know this part right here is 135.
There's a line that's going to, this line's equal 180. All you use find out the numbers again.
There's a line. Line has to be 180. Well, if this is 110, that's got to be 70. Here's a line. That's 135. That's got to be 45. Now I've got a triangle with a 70, a 45, and a Y. Well, how do I figure out the triangle? And? What do I know about a triangle? It's got to add up to be 180. So I would say 70 plus 45 is 115. 180 minus 115 tells me that Y is 65. What do we think the first thing we need to do is? Nope. Before I even start worrying about solving it or equation or anything like that, what's the first thing I need to figure out?
X.
Nope. Before I start worrying about any of that.
Type of angle?
What kind of angles are they? All of this goes back to what kind are they? The first one is alternate exterior. What is the rule for alternate exterior?
It's the opposite. It's the opposite.
It's the same.
Alternate exterior has to be the same. So when I see these two things, now I know they have to be the same. Figure out what kind of angles they are and use that particular rule. Well, now I just have a regular equation to solve. So in this case, I would probably minus the 6. So 2x minus 72 equals negative 30. Plus the 72. If it says solve for x, you're done there.
But when it says solve for x angle, it's just.
But when it says find the angle,
That's x.
well, now what do I need to do?
With the.
How would I find the angle if I know what x is?
Well, x is 21.
So how would I use that to find the angle?
Come on, I get defense. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hold on.
Well, since we seem to be struggling this morning, if I need to find the angle, I'm going to take that 21 and plug it in for x in either one of them. It doesn't matter which
Well,
one.
they're the same.
Because they're the same, it doesn't matter. So I would say 6x minus 30. So that's 6 times 21 minus 30.
Oh.
There are my two answers. X is 21 and my angle is 96. If I look at this second one right here, what kind of angles are these two?
Consecutive.
What's the rule for any consecutive?
Same.
No.
Opposite.
But have to add up to be 180. So I've got to do 8x plus 2 plus 10x minus 20 equals 180. Please pay attention to this next part because this is where people miss this problem. The stuff that is on the same side of the equal sign, do not change the signs. Work it just like it looks. What is 8x plus 10x?
18x.
What is 2 minus 20? Do not change the signs if it's on the same side of the equal sign. Once you get it here and I move it across the equal sign, that's when I start doing that right there. And solve it. Now on this one, I got my x is 11. It tells me to find the angle. Do I need to plug it into one of them or both of them?
Both,
Really needs to be both.
because they're not the same angle, they're different.
Because there's no guarantee that they're going to be the same angle. Now I think these, when I do that, 8 times 11 plus 2, 88 plus 2, that works out to be 90. And then 10 times 11 minus 20. This one just happens to work out where both of them are 90. Most of the time on consecutive, you're going to get two different numbers. Really, I should probably change that problem right there. All right, you do that last one over there. All right, for the last one, what kind are they? Alternate interior. What's the rule for alternate interior? So 5x plus 11 has to equal 9x minus 29. We'll solve that. Wind up with 10 for x. All right. It says find the angle. You can plug it into one or both. If it's me, I'm gonna plug it into both just to make sure I did it right. Well, 5 times 10 plus 11 is 50 plus 11, so that's 61. And then 9 times 10 minus 29, 90 minus 29, which is 61. If I see those two numbers matching, then I'm pretty sure I got it right. Are there any questions on how to do these? What are your only two choices that you're going to have? How can you set up the equation?
Adds up to 180.
Or?
It's the same.
Equal to each other, add up to 180. That's the only two choices you got. Be careful on that step right there when it's the 180. Add up, don't change signs if they're on the same side of the equal sign. Everybody got it? All right, on the first one, what kind are they?
Corresponding.
Which means-
They're the same.
Oh, corresponding better be equal to each other.
See, I had it right. Dang.
Corresponding is equal to each other. Solve it from there. 2x minus 90 equals 10. Add the 90. 2x equals 100.
Bro, I was right, bro. God. No, he messed me up, man. Made me erase all that and put that in.
You should know what you're doing and don't listen to other people. X is 50. So I take that 50 and I'm just going to plug it into the bottom one. 2 times 50 plus 10. That's 100 plus 10.
That's 110.
And if you plug it into the top one, that would be 4 times 50 is 200. 200 minus 90 is 110. Same thing.
See, bro,
All right, second one. What kind are they? Second one. What kind are
Alternate
they?
interior.
Alternate interior has to be equal to each other.
Yes, it's still going to be the same.
So minus 6x, 15 equals 4x minus 9 plus the 9.
It's the easy one to start to piece it together.
Yep.
Second one.
I get 6 for my x. Take that 6. I'm just going to plug it into the top one there. 36 plus 15. Get 51 for my angle. 6 times 10 for the bottom one is 60 minus 9 is 51 there. The last one is what kind? Consecutive. Anytime it's consecutive, whether it's interior or exterior, doesn't matter. You add them up, equal to 180. Remember, all of this junk that's on the same side, do not change signs.
So you go from
4x plus 6x is 10x. 20 minus 40 is negative 20. Solve it. From there, I get 10x equals 200.
That's going to be 20.
My x is 20, so there's my x part. Now on consecutive, well, anytime you do the 180 part, plug the angle or the x into both angles. If you ever do the 180, plug it into both of them. So 4 times 20
Angle 1
plus 20, that's 80 plus 20, which is 100. And then 6 times 20 minus 40 is 120 minus 40 is 80. How can I kind of check and see if those are right? What should happen? What should happen with these two? They should add up to be 180. Well, 100 plus 80 is 180. So I feel pretty confident in that answer. So if I'm doing this first one, what kind are they?
They are
Consecutive interior.
Consecutive interior, which means add up
180.
to be 180. Leave all the signs alone. Solve the equation, get 15x equals 150. X equals 10. Take the x, do I plug it into one or both? This, you need to plug it into both. So 10 times 10 plus 20, that gives me 120 there. 5 times 10 plus 10, 60 there.
yes,
120 plus the 60 is the 180, which is what it should be. The last one over here is alternate exterior, which means they have to be equal to each other. Minus the 3x. Add the 18. You get 12.
And yes, 80, 130.
All right. Plug. I'm gonna plug it into both of them, but you really only had to do one to get the answer. Are there any questions on that? If it says something like prove the lines are parallel, what it's saying is what number would you have to plug in there to show that they're the same? That the lines are parallel, excuse me. So like on this one, first of all, what kind of angle is it?
Corresponding.
Corresponding. So if it's corresponding, what has to happen with the angles?
Has to be the same thing.
So all we're doing is saying if that's 115, that would prove those lines are parallel. The second one,
Alternate exterior.
alternate exterior has to be the same. So that would have
So
to be
that would
somewhere.
have to be 80.
Last one is
Consecutive.
consecutive. Any consecutive has to be supplementary, so we do that. So if it says prove the lines parallel, all it's asking for is what number would you plug in and make it true? All right, do those three right there. First one, what kind are they? It's corresponding. It doesn't matter that this one in the middle is there. I'm looking at the top one and the bottom one. Those are corresponding. So that'd be 56. If I come to the second one over here, consecutive interior, they're on the same side. Again, this one in the middle doesn't matter. I mean, it's useless for those two. So that would be 68. Then the last one down here,
41.
if I look at the X and that 41, those are alternate interior. So we would have to match it and be 41 there. Well, I can think of it.